We all know that generative AI can create some amazingly realistic synthetic data, but there's a catch. Your standard generative AI, for all of its incredible power, has a massive blind spot. It's fantastic at learning the feel of your data, the general patterns, but it can completely miss the strict rules that actually govern it. And that brings us to a really critical difference. On one side, generative AI is a master of probability. It looks at your data, it learns the schema, the format, all the statistical correlations, things like 70% of new accounts are premium. But on the other side, it often completely whiffs on the deterministic rules, the absolute business logic that says one thing must be true if another thing is true. And that little crack right there, that's where all the problems start crawling in. This collection of unwritten rules actually has a name database context. The best way to think about this is it's the shared understanding that your team and your software have about the data. It's not usually written into the database schema itself, but it's enforced by the logic inside your applications. It's all that stuff that everybody just knows about, how the data is supposed to behave. So what happens when an AI misses this crucial context? Well, the results aren't just a little messy. This could be totally catastrophic for your applications. Let's walk through a simple real-world example just to see how bad things can get. Okay? So imagine the ticket sales company. Their database is pretty straightforward. It tracks user accounts, and there are just two types. You've got your premium accounts and your basic accounts. Simple enough, right? Now here's the golden rule. This is that critical piece of database context. It's a simple, absolute business rule. Only premium accounts are allowed to have perks. Basic accounts can never, ever have them. This isn't a statistical likelihood, it's a 100% black and white deterministic rule. So here's the big question. What happens when we let a probability-based AI loose on a system that has a rule this absolute? Well, at first glance, the AI does a pretty decent job. It correctly sees that, yeah, most of the accounts with perks are premium. But look a little closer, because it's thinking in probabilities, not in absolutes. It spits out an outlier account 104. That's a basic account that has been assigned a perk. And just like that, our fundamental business rule is completely broken. Now, this might look like a small error, but that one invalid row can cause any downstream application that relies on that rule to just completely crash. It breaks your tests, it corrupts simulations, and ultimately it just erodes all trust in your synthetic data. So how do we fix this problem? I mean, we can't just keep cleaning up the synthetic data by hand forever. This is where a really powerful new system constraint, Augmented Generation, or CAG module with SDV Enterprise, comes into play. So what is CAG? Well, think of it as a system that enhances generative AI by basically giving it the rulebook it was missing. It lets you explicitly state your business logic, your database context, and inject it directly into the generation process. And the result you get, synthetic data, that follows your rules 100% of the time, guaranteed. And look, this isn't just some patch. It's a fundamental shift in how we generate multi-table synthetic data. It's about moving from hoping our synthetic data is correct to guaranteeing that it is. So let's see how this really brings trust and control back into the picture. First, you just pick up a predefined pattern that matches your business rule. Second, you tell the system which tables and columns it applies to. And third, you augment your synthesizer with this information. That's it. Now you are set to generate 100% valid data. And maybe the best part is how incredibly accessible it is. You don't need to be a coding expert or machine learning guru. It's really a simple, low-code process. The benefits here are just massive. First, and this is the most important one, is to increase trust. You have a rock-solid guarantee that your data is valid. Second is transparency and control. You know exactly what rules the AI is following because you're the one who told it what they are. And finally, it just makes your workflows so much simpler. No more writing and maintaining these messy scripts to fix the AI's mistakes. And this isn't just a theoretical concept. SDV Enterprise's CAG bundle already comes loaded with over 20 predefined patterns, all of them curated from hundreds of real-world use cases. And our team at Datacebo is constantly adding new ones. This means that for a lot of common business rules, the solution is already built and it's just ready to go. So this all leaves us with one really important question. We know generative AI can create data that looks real, but is your synthetic data smart enough to actually know the rules that govern your business? With Constraint-Augmented Generation, the answer can finally and reliably be yes. Add the KEG bundle to your SDV Enterprise subscription if you are modeling multiple tables and you want your data to follow the hard and fast rules that govern its creation in the first place.